Hello, I'm Ashley Mashiri. Welcome to the programme. We start with the latest on the electronic pager explosions in Lebanon. Multiple reports say that Israel's Mossad spy agency placed explosives in thousands of Hezbollah pagers before they detonated across Lebanon on Tuesday. Iran, which backs the armed group, which is a proscribed terrorist organisation by the UK, has described the synchronised explosions as mass murder, in their words, and blamed Israel for the attack. So far, Israel hasn't commented. These are the main developments this past hour. At least 11 people died and almost 3,000 people were wounded. Lebanon says hundreds are in critical condition in hospital. Some were blinded, others lost fingers or required amputations. Hezbollah has blamed Israel for the explosions. Separately, Israeli and US sources say Israel detonated them earlier than planned, fearing that the armed group Hezbollah had become aware of the plan. A number of pagers were recovered intact and now are being forensically exploited for clues. Police have visited the offices of a company in Taiwan, as the pagers seem to carry a Taiwanese brand and it was initially thought to have come from there. But the boss of the company, Gold Apollo, has denied any involvement in the attacks. He told journalists they were made by a company based in Hungary called BAC Consulting under a deal that they signed 3 years ago. Now, this is the scene live outside where the registered address of the company in the Hungarian capital, Budapest, is based. Our colleague at BBC Verify, several colleagues are working to confirm more details about the firm. But here's a little bit about what we know in terms of the boss of Gold Apollo's comments at a news conference in Taipei.
Gold Apollo, in the past 3 years, has established a long-term trademark authorization with BAC Company. We have a regional agency cooperation and a cooperation agreement. This product is not Apollo's product, but a product that I authorize our trademark for them to brand. This product is not in our company. The thing you found now, it's not our product.
Your company no longer produces the AR924 model.
It's not that we no longer produce it. They're not our product from beginning to the end. How can we produce products that are not ours?
Are you 100% sure that the product is not made in Taiwan?
100% sure.
It is not from your company?
No.
So what more do we know about the pagers that appear to have detonated simultaneously on Tuesday? With me is Irvin Brown from BBC Verify. Thanks for joining. Now, could you talk us through everything BBC Verify is looking into right now in terms of the explosions on Tuesday?
Well, certainly, as with anyone at home, like when we all heard this news, we'd all looked on social media. There are posts on X, YouTube, Instagram, Telegram, and we would start going through all of these, dozens of these videos. And we always want to know, where was this video filmed? Was it definitely filmed yesterday? And if we can say where it was filmed, what can it tell us about what happened? Now, the obvious thing is there are many scenes across Beirut of people being helped in the street. We can see people with horrific injuries to their hands, maybe to their faces. And we can see scenes in at least 2 medical centres in Beirut, the Barman Hospital. The images from there you ran at the top of this hour. That showed a chaotic scene with at least 28 patients in it. We've also seen images from Tebneen Hospital. Now, that's 75 kilometres south of Beirut, but many ambulances and hundreds of people gathering outside there. So that gives us a picture of just how widespread this was.
And Richard, what more do we know about the pagers that were used in this operation?
Well, certainly there are 2 main images, still images, we saw yesterday of the remnants of those pagers. They're quite mangled, but we can see a USB connector on one, we can see some of the buttons, and we can even see at points the word gold and maybe the start of the word app on the back of them. Now, from this, we can say, okay, this looks very much like the AR924 model of pager, which was initially, I think, manufactured by Gold Apollo. As you've been saying today, Gold Apollo have come out and said, this is not our product. 3 years ago, we signed a license with BAC Consulting in Hungary to manufacture these.
And you've mentioned that Hungarian firm as well, and the response from the Taiwanese boss. What do we know about these companies?
Okay, so for instance, BAC Consulting, Gold Apollo gave an address for them. We found their website. If anyone was to look at it right now, it seems to be up and down all the time. And we can see when it is up that definitely it has the same address listed on it on their Contact Us page. It also, we know from investigating it, that it has one single shareholder, and at that address there are 13 other listed companies.
All right, and I'm sure your work is continuing throughout the day. As soon as we have more from Richard and his team, we will bring you more information as they try to piece together all of this from the images they can find. Let's speak now to our correspondent in Taipei, Rupert Wingfield-Hayes. Rupert, we've spoken a little bit about the connections here, the links that are being made when it comes to this Taiwanese company and this Hungarian firm. What more can you tell us in terms of the investigations that are taking place?
Well, I've been down to the Gold Apollo offices with many journalists outside there this morning. They briefly made a statement early on before the police then turned up. And then investigators from the Taipei Criminal Investigation Division turned up too, with lots of cardboard boxes, went into the offices there. And they are now questioning the owner of Gold Apollo and his staff about the nature of their contract with this company in Hungary, BAC Consulting, when it was signed, what was the nature of the contract, and you know, what connection Gold Apollo may have to these devices that have been found in Lebanon. Now, before he went in for questioning by the police, before basically the police came down and shut the door in all of our faces and said, you're not coming in anymore, we did get a brief statement from him in which he said that absolutely flat out, he said, look, these devices are not made by my company here in Taiwan. We do not make that model, but we had this agreement that we signed 3 years ago with this company called BAC Consulting in Budapest in Hungary that would allow them to use our name in their products. He said initially, when they'd got together 3 years ago, this Hungarian-based company had said, look, we want to import your pages to Europe. And he said that there was an agreement to sell pages to them made here in Taiwan. But then they came back later and said, actually, what we want to do is sign an agreement to use your name, in other words, use your... In the world of paging, Gold Apollo is, you know, has a good reputation and has a lot of products sold around the world. So they wanted to use that name, but make the actual devices elsewhere. Where elsewhere, we simply don't know. But he is absolutely adamant that the devices or the remains of the devices that have been found in Lebanon after they've exploded, even though they say Gold Apollo on the back of them, they are not of his design, and they are not made by his company here in Taiwan.